pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just missing Carrie.
We don't elect president.
All right, so we're on agenda item number 4, organization of the board, election officers with anticipated action, with number 1 being election of the president.
It's chair.
Chair, sorry, chair. Is there a motion?
I'd like to open that discussion, right? And I'd like to nominate Denise Menard to be the chair of the East Windsor Board of Education. I do this because I believe she has, the attributes, the experience, and most importantly, the commitment to facilitate and lead our board to accomplish the educational goals that we set. And
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Or any discussion?
Other nominations.
Yeah, other nominations.
Any nominations? You can tell I do this often.
Any other nomination?
Any other nominations?
Close nominations.
Close nomination.
Motion to close nomination. Second. Who was the second? Yeah, okay.
All in favor of closing nominations? Say aye.
Thanks, Noreen.
Well, this will be a group.
it's okay. It's okay. We're a group experience, right?
So nominations are closed. Any discussion? Those in favor? All those in favor? Say aye.
What Patrick do?
Listen, you guys are rolling. I'm fair. You know what? Actually, pretty.
Patrick, it's okay. He's looking like he's a little like.
All in favor?
I,
Any opposed? Okay,
Any abstentions?
it seemed pretty 4-6 across. Right. So I guess I can just slide this over. Congratulations. I look forward to working with you in this new capacity.
Thank you. I'll just stay here. So now we're on to election of vice chair now. It's not like a huge throng of people here. I'm opening nominations for vice chair. Nominate Noreen Farmer. Second that. Motion made by Fran, seconded by Courtney. Any other nominations? Motion to close nominations is in order. So moved. Seconded by Noreen. Made by Gabby. All those in favor of closing nominations?
I,
It was easier when you were doing it and we just.
Yeah, we did.
Now I gotta think the whole thing through. All those in favor of Noreen Farmer as vice chair? Aye.
I,
For
Any
the
opposed?
official vote, am I marking that?
No, we're good. No, I shook my
And
hand.
no abstentions. Votes unanimous. Now we're on to election of a secretary.
I nominate Fran Neal for secretary.
I'm third.
All right, so who was?
We're gonna give you a hard time.
I did the second.
Okay.
Erin did the nomination, I did the second. Any other nominations? Motion to close nominations is in order. Make a motion to close nomination.
Second.
Seconded by Noreen. All those in favor of? Oh, no, voting on closing nominations. All those in favor?
I,
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, on to the vote on the secretary as Fran Neal for secretary of the board. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You can't oppose. Noreen almost tried that. Opposed? Nobody, and no abstentions, right? So that's unanimous again. This feels kind of funny. It'll take a little getting used to. Thank you, everybody, for the vote of confidence. Hopefully, we'll have a good 2 years, and it's 2 years, right?
Yes.
And get a lot done. And at this point, the Rs and the Ds are erased, and we are all just one board. So that's how it's worked in the past, and that's how it will continue to do. Are there any added agenda items?
We do not.
Has everyone read the minutes of the November 12th meeting? If so, a motion is in order. Approve the minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second. Motion made by Betsy, seconded by Courtney. Any discussion, revisions, corrections? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Public participation, there isn't any.
There's one remote.
Hello, remote person, would you like to speak under public participation?
No, thank you. Just listening in.
Okay, thank you. We're glad you're there. Okay, next is Tim's report, the student representative.
Barbara Elementary School. The Barbara Elementary School students participated in a meaningful and engaging Veterans Day celebration. We had many parent volunteers, including several who are active military or veterans, help us celebrate. Students learned about the significance of Veterans Day and the importance of honoring those who have served. Students took part in a variety of hands-on activities, including a boot camp experience, creating dog tags and puppies, and writing letters to veterans to express their appreciation. White table was present during all activities. Students also came together to form a living flag using pieces of colored paper, creating a powerful visual representation of unity and gratitude. In addition, classes sang patriotic songs to commemorate the day. Due to cold temperatures and high winds, our traditional mile races were postponed until Friday, November 14th. For middle school, East Windsor Middle School Student Council has been hard at work collecting over 600 food items for the 5 corner cupboard. East Windsor's first selectman, Mr. Bowser, joined us during our second student council breakfast to officially swear in our student council members. East Windsor Middle School welcomed 9 veterans who met with students to share their experiences. Our students asked thoughtful and engaging questions throughout their visits. Students also wrote heartfelt thank you notes to the veterans and participated in a variety of Veterans Day activities. For the high school, on Tuesday, November 11th, East Windsor High School was proud to honor our local veterans. We were especially fortunate to welcome 15 local veterans into our classrooms where they shared their experiences in service and what it means to be a veteran. Students had the opportunity to learn about different jobs in the military, what basic training is like, and many places our guests traveled during their service careers. It was a wonderful chance to hear directly from local heroes and to learn from their examples of dedication, courage, and service. During the assembly, students took a leading role in reminding us of the true meaning of Veterans Day. Both the band and chorus, guided by student leaders, performed beautifully to honor the occasion. All involved demonstrated what it meant to show Panther pride. Their dedication, respect, and leadership were truly pride-worthy.
Thank you, Tim. Next is our upcoming meetings and events. My husband saw this list and said, "Are you kidding? He's on the police commission. They don't have a list like that." So,
It's very helpful.
it is very helpful. Are there any questions on the list?
I just wondered, curriculum subcommittee, we're not meeting at all in December.
We typically do not. We can certainly do that, set up on. Do well, need regarding the just. So let me talk to Sarah.
Okay, that's fine.
Get a date.
Good.
I guess I would ask, is there a date that works better for after we look at the committees later on?
Yeah,
If there is a date that works best for the committee, then
good. Thanks, Dara.
Yeah.
Next is the financial.
I apologize, can we, I believe, does not the middle school have a concert in December?
Yeah, it's the
Yes.
16th.
It's on there. It's,
Oh, I said the high school twice, I'm sorry, I apologize.
yeah, and it's the middle school at the high school.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, but this is very helpful to have this.
Yeah, it is. The financial report, Brian.
So I put a little bit of a cover page in there. It's essentially the same one that the finance subcommittee saw. And went through as far as the FY25 audit update. I wrote this just because there was a slight correction to the 2% fund that we had to make based on an error that I discovered from a former employee. It's been corrected. It got corrected before the auditors grabbed it, but it's a slight reduction in the 2% fund. Overall, the 2% fund is higher than what we had originally budgeted in the year. So like, even though we're lower than the last time I updated you guys, it's still higher than what we had originally budgeted for the year. We did get a little bit of an update too. I put in the last paragraph there that we were waiting for the desk audit from the state. I've been in contact with the gentleman at the state who does all that now. I actually just spoke to him again today, just on some things to update in EFS. It's really just clarifying items for him. Ironically, it's the same thing you pointed out last year. So I'm respectfully reminding him that this is the same thing. So once that gets corrected, we should be good at EFS. I have been talking to the auditors as well. They're fine with all the corrections. So there's, no real updates there. Everything seems like it should be on track to still be done on time. As far as 26 goes, there's been a lot of recent changes, just trying to keep them updated in Munis. And really, a lot of my time recently has been working on the new year budget, like building that, grant updates, and then just kind of working on early FY26 projection. So I don't have any like big FY26 updates yet. I don't know if anyone has specific questions.
I really appreciate the cover letters.
Oh, yeah, no,
Easy to read.
I will be doing those. So,
Thank you.
Finance subcommittee met 2 weeks ago and we went through everything, all the line item budget numbers, and there was nothing that was jumping out at anybody. And not quite sure when we're doing it. I keep getting confused. In the next couple of months, Ryan will be doing projections as to where he foresees us probably ending. But
yeah, we'll do like the first.
it's early.
Yes.
Too early in the year to be doing that now. With because this takes us just through October. Right?
The one that you have in there.
It's October.
Yes, yeah.
There was nothing in our subcommittee to anything.
Yep. So I'll keep the subcommittee updated in the next meeting too, because I will hopefully have some updates on like medical and a couple of the other ones. And then we'll do that first projection, and then we'll work on a more updated one as the year goes on.
Patrick, are you hearing anything that we should kind of be thinking about, like through your network with superintendents, as far as areas that might be changed in terms of funding or anything along those lines?
Nothing that's like been confirmed.
Okay.
I think there's a natural concern in general for the title funds. And certainly we get quite a bit.
Yeah.
We had a reduction about 100,000 from last year, this year. Some of that was anticipated, but even though we budgeted,
Yep.
it was still 40,000, or was it 60,000?
60, right?
60,000 less than what we budgeted for a $40,000 reduction, ended up being 100. So we were still not budgeted that reduction enough, but that continues to be something that we monitor.
Thank you.
Ryan, one of the things at one of the workshops that I attended at the conference, they made mention of reduction in Medicaid's associated impact on school financing. Would that, I thought they said a year from now. Is that correct?
Reduction Medicaid for,
Will somehow impact our schools?
I have not heard anything, but I can throw that in like my Casbo chat and see if anyone's got any updates on that. It's definitely possible. I haven't seen anything.
Yeah, right.
Our Medicaid reimbursement is, essentially like it comes through as far as, special education. I will say, Connecticut, as far as that reimbursement is already lower, than other states in the sense that they have multiple like groups that essentially have a percentage that they take from before it comes back to the school district for reimbursement. So I know like in Massachusetts, like they have a higher reimbursement because there's less groups taking from the pie, so to speak.
I just had made that note. One of the speakers had said something like that.
Yeah, definitely looking to that a little bit.
Any other financial related questions? Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah.
Next is the personnel report, and there's
On page 37.
pages, well, page and a half. Does anybody have any comments or questions on any of the appointments, transfers, resignations, stipends, coaching?
Do we have another math teacher to replace Mr. Elliott, Mr. Ebert?
We have two in the interview phase. I believe one was brought forward today for hire. I believe it has to come in a final interview with myself. 100% sure where we are with reference checks, but we did have two qualified people apply and
Okay.
interview for the position.
Has it become easier with some of these positions, Patrick, or is it still difficult?
I mean, to be completely honest,
Yeah.
was a little surprised that we had two qualified candidates that applied for the map. That has not been the past. So
Yeah.
we have been seeing slight improvements. I think where you see the difference still is, at the end of the day, it was still two qualified applicants. Special ed is still,
Yeah.
especially like the specialty areas within special ed, like related services like OT, PT, speech and language. Those can be a little school psychs. Those can be a little bit more challenging to fill. We have seen an uptick in our application pool of late. Like we had a late resignation for our elementary school teacher in August. Typically that would be a thin pool, but we had over 30 applicants. So we are seeing
Yeah.
upwards.
Yeah.
Whereas, I mean, you still hear of larger school districts that have 100 opening unfilled certified positions. So we've been doing a really good job as far as being a desirable place. But that being said, you do see more movement for all districts. It's a very competitive market for
Yes,
teachers.
yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
On the physical therapist,
Yes,
we only have one in the district. Do we?
part-time too. So it's based on student need. It's to fulfill hours and IEPs for students with special needs. So typically the amount of direct service time equates to 1.5 to 2 hours. 1.5 to 2 days.
Will we be able to fill that before January, or can we?
Right now, what we're most likely pursuing is a contracted service while we continue to find someone that would like to work part-time.
Deal with the part-time issue?
I'm not sure. I mean, it's a very thin applicant pool. Very few districts have a need for a full-time. What you see more is You may see like one PT that's shared between 2 or 3 school districts. That's what we had for years, for 20+ years. Prior to, most recently in the last year.
There is someone we can contract with. so-
There is, yes, yep. It is an increased cost, so like we do have to find the money, but the students will get their mandated services.
We're not paying physical therapists for here, shouldn't be. Should there be an offset?
Because essentially you have the contracted service, like they have there, and then you have like essentially the agency gets their cut.
Yeah.
It tends to be higher than that person's salary, because
Okay.
you're basically paying both.
Right, so but there'll be, it's more, but it's. Yeah.
Correct, there is an offset, correct, because
Okay.
you don't have the salary any longer, you are correct, so it's not. That makes sense, more than what was originally budgeted.
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
No other comments, questions? Let's hear it. Okay, we'll move on to new business. First order of business under new business is the policy for filling vacancy on the board. As everybody on the board is aware, there are 2 vacancies. This is the board's policy. And Jessica, you put this together, or Patrick, you put this together?
So, Jessica certainly deserves the credit. As you can see, on it's page 41 in your packet. It does say draft, as part of the discussion. Certainly, if the board, is agreeable, we can put that out, in a message to families. We can post on social media. We can share with, like these ones, your Chamber of Commerce, like we can get out to other outlets to try to advertise it.
Should we change the date to 2025? Are we trying to fill it by the end of the
Yeah, that's very good. Good idea. Let's not do a
Could I ask if it's possible to find a different picture so that I don't look quite so?
I was wondering, yeah, I looked at.
If you find a picture where Heather looks goofy and I look okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess, so certainly we can, we'll, correct, the typo. We can change out the picture. As far as the information itself, are you comfortable with that? Are you comfortable? I believe in the past, when there's been a vacancy, interested candidates have submitted a resume.
Yeah.
And so if the board is comfortable, those can go, be sent to Jessica, and then they can be included as far as the packet. Would you want them invited to like the very next board meeting? Would you want to look at the resumes first and then bring it? How would you want to go about it? And with that being said, I did have someone email me today,
Oh, good.
inquiring with interest as far as finding more information out. I knew we were having, this was a discussions, point, so my intent is to follow up with that individual, following tonight's meeting.
I know I had to, when one of the times I had to answer just a few questions that came to, so I, in terms of, I don't think we need a big application, but at least, I think, asking like 2, 3 or 4 questions, might be a good starting point for people and different. The other thing that so I would be in favor of that. But the other thing I have a question is 2 elected vacancy positions. Is that wording, does that make it seem like, I just have a question about that. So does it make it sound like we're holding another election?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't want it to be misleading.
We can just, change it to 2, vacant.
Vacancy positions, yeah.
Before we answer your question, Pat, I also just wanted to make another suggestion with the wording. This is a member of the Republican Party or unaffiliated. Can we edit that to say member of the Republican Party, any third party or unaffiliated, just to make it a little bit more inclusive?
I think if we're going to stay with that wording, we need to wait for clarification on the issue about, minority representation. Because there's a Carrie changed parties in the middle of the year, in the middle of her term. And there's some Secretary of State thing that she may be considered a Republican for minority representation. I don't understand it. Patrick, you've asked for a legal opinion on that.
I did. It was shared with me that, the town clerk had had indicated that, one seat, I believe was, reserved for, Democrat for, slash unaffiliated and Republican slash unaffiliated and recognizing, that Carrie, who originally had a Republican, seat, but then changed affiliation, about a year in. Now, I did reach out to the office of, the state secretary. The answer, I have my own interpretation of it, but I would say it was a little bit confusing. I will say I got it after, the packet went out, so I can include that, I can include my original question along with, her responses. In one breath in the response, she had indicated that if, unless they changed within the last 3 months, they would hold the seat of their current, party. So in this case, if she's part of the Democratic Party, that would be a Democratic seat. But then later in the email, she said your board is currently a 5-2, which seemed to be in contrary to what she said there. And then it did say you should consult like your town charter and town attorney. So there is no the town charter is silent on it. When I spoke with Chris Cheney, she indicated legislation is like a maximum. Don't think of it as like a minimum of seats. It's a maximum. So it's a maximum of 6 seats per party. Chris Cheney's interpretation is that since Carrie changed a year ago, that's well beyond the 3 months. So it would be essentially our board is at its capacity or maximum 6 seats. That being said, because the person, the elections officer, indicated to check with a town attorney, and specified town attorney, and originated from the town. I thought it was important that the town weigh in too for clarity and transparency. So I did reach out to the first selectman and forwarded the email and said, can you get an interpretation? He did ask what our attorney interpretation is, and he asked this today, so I have not shared that. So
No one wants to be the one that says, this is it.
yeah, I will say, so originally the election officer did not answer the email. Jessica called and her response was, oh, no one's gotten back to you yet.
I was hoping someone else would answer that.
So
Good response.
Secretary of State does not give legal opinions
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
They just don't. That's
So-
the policy.
So we did get one from our board, because she specified town attorney and not board attorney. I thought it warranted, a reference to charter, even though our interpretation of the charter is that it's silent on it. It just made sense.
Maybe if we get our attorney and the town's attorney to say the same thing,
Yeah.
at least say, okay, well, let's go down that path.
So until
Can
we
I-
get clarification on that, we can't really put a member of the Republican Party or unaffiliated.
Yeah, I guess my question is, as soon as we do get clarification, is the group comfortable putting something out following that, or would you want it to come back to the board?
That's the law. I mean,
Well, I think it's really a good idea that it goes out. Number one, we have to
so
fill
let's
those,
just leave
we
it.
have to fill those vacancies and, you know, if we get, clarification on it and we kind of, you know, and we're certainly revising this. So Fran, you don't really want your picture on here? I'm kidding, I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Yeah, no, yeah, yeah. Because you know, if there was a spa, it might be even, you know, what our goals are over our goals of, you know, so that, I don't know whether that's too much information and that scares, it scares people away, but,
Yeah, we don't need to be being scared away from this.
yeah, I agree, I agree. But I'm fine if you get clarification on, I feel it's important to get it out as soon as we
Yeah, I
can.
feel the same way.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I do too.
So as soon as I get clarification, we'll get it out.
Yeah.
That will, obviously, I'll inform the board as well.
So I would
Can we
think,
go back to the first part, the policy part?
Mhm.
There's- There's some confusion within the time, not. There's some confusion within the time frame that we have to fill the position. There's some people who look at it and say, okay, you have 30 days to fill it. And if you don't fill it, it goes back to the Board of Selectmen and they have to fill it. But there's a counter to that that says, no, that's for municipal boards and boards of education are not municipal boards.
That is actually correct. So the Board of Ed are state boards. They go under the State Board of Education.
But under 3 here, 3 on the policy, it says our responsibility is to, at our next meeting, which would be this meeting, is to set a schedule. So should we set a schedule that we have these vacancies and we are going to have this taken care of by January 31st or February 28th, 15th or something. So that there's no misperception that we're sitting and not doing anything. I just think it's gonna take time for people to be able to send in if they're interested, then we have to gather it, we have to get together, figure out. Are we gonna have everybody come at the same time? Are we gonna do,
with the holidays.
how do we do this? But I think it's important to set a time frame.
What happens if we don't get enough applications between now and then?
You could extend it,
We,
at least if you have some
Yeah, I guess.
deadline.
That was my question. Do we still operate? And my understanding is that we can still operate as a board.
You can,
Yeah.
a quorum is now 4 though.
Okay.
so our policy says that tonight we will set a schedule. So I think we should set a,
Do you have a proposal, Maureen?
well, I was just thinking the end of February, just because that gives us 2 months from when this deadline is to submit. So that if we do have to extend it because we didn't get anything. Or we could always shorten it up too. If we get a lot of stuff in and we can wrap it up in January, we can shorten it up, but
Deadline.
at least we've put out there that we're working on it, that we
But-
have a schedule.
But do we want to, you know, instead of just putting like a month down, because this is going to be policy. So instead of putting a month down, do we want to put like a amount of days down?
No, that's not, we're not changing the policy.
We're just talking about
We're just getting
underneath.
How
Yes.
do you?
So,
Okay.
so for the deadline, if the deadline to submit would be end of February, would we interview any people that submitted before then, or would we wait until after that deadline?
We could.
Do
I
it
think
now.
our
The deadline
deadline
to
should be
submit
the
on-
31st to make a decision. So you're saying
So for us
for us
to
to,
get them all in, interview them, do all of that.
I'll just say in the past, what you have done is done as a rolling. So like if someone like, because a lot of times, you have someone that, is interested, they, express interest. You may not have like 2 or 3 people simultaneously. It may be months before you have a second or third, person.
Oh, no, Patrick, we're gonna have 9 people are gonna send it in.
Maureen, I want to drink your water.
if we like a proposal, can I propose that we have the deadline be by December 31st? And then we will have action by the end of February.
So So the deadline for submitting
the application
would be December 31st, 2025.
and then. I don't know how you want to make it work.
And then February would be complete, and in between there, we'd have whatever we need to do as far as interviewing.
Yeah,
and
does the
meeting
schedule
proposals.
have to be that
Yeah.
specific?
I'm a little concerned about the December 31st deadline only because of the holidays and stuff. People may not even pay attention to it until, would January 15th be a better end
How
of?
many meetings do we have between now and then?
You only have one in December. We would have two in January. I'm just looking at the
January
dates.
15th sounds.
January 15th sounds doable then if we have it in for the first and then have a chance to look at stuff.
Okay, so January 15th.
2026.
You were right, Jessica. We are doing
And
2000.
that would leave us
Yeah, that's where I got all.
3 meetings to, if we do January 15th and February 28th, we have 3 meetings in between there to deal with
Anybody
anybody and
in
whatever.
a process.
Yeah,
So what, January 15th is the deadline for applications? Am I understanding?
yes.
Okay, and then February what?
28, 27.
So the 28th is a Saturday. So do we want the 27th? Would be the Friday, last Friday in February. Is that all right? So just that would be February 27th.
Okay.
We could always.
Bump it up if we need,
depending
yes.
on-
Yeah, we have no applicant or.
We have 9 applications, Fran. When we have the 9 applications.
We're drinking hot water.
One who's watching is a funny thing.
They can tell.
Do we need to make a motion?
Yes, please.
So. I will make a motion to. Schedule the filling of the 2 Board of Education vacancies. To. A deadline for submissions of interest to January 15th of 2025.
26.
26. And the deadline for the Board of Education to either take action or amend the dates by February 27th, 2026.
That's made by Irene. Is there a second?
I will second.
Seconded by Betsy. Any discussion? Any more discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Yeah, motion is carried. Patrick, this, notice of these usually also goes to the heads of each political party. Because they sometimes have a pool of people that they might be able to help with. Well, sure. Yeah. Well, you never know.
Yeah, so once it's, I can connect with you as far as who we should go out to.
Got in the spot.
Yeah. Okay, are there any other questions or concerns or comments on the filling of the vacancies?
So I just have one question as far as filling. So, somebody is going to kind of do some kind of an application and will we have so that.
We're having them, we're having them,
Do we have an application?
no, it says send resumes.
But I thought we were also talking about an application.
Well,
Would
maybe
that-
go
that
through
was
David's
few
and-
questions We're gonna do questions, I thought.
When we interview.
Yeah.
All right. I just.
If they
Yes.
send a resume, then what else would we have on an
An
application that we?
I think the only other thing you could say, like, letter of interest, like, so you can learn why they're interested.
It gives you a head start on there.
We've already got that email, your resume, and a letter, the letter stating why you're interested.
Okay. Fine. I'm fine with that. And then just, I would suggest that we have some kind of a rubric as far as then the questions that we're asking. As far as, just so that we know, when we're doing it with the 9 people that are applying, Fran, that we have an aggregated number in the end.
Those were mine.
I'm just.
So there's 9 for you and 9 for you. 18.
people.
Okay, good to go. Could be one night.
We're gonna have a cookie that, right?
Offering some food next. Yeah.
If by chance you know of any superintendents who dealt with this, I know there's been a couple school districts, Hartford went through it. If there's anybody you know of who maybe who's done some kind of types of questions, maybe it would be helpful to get that.
Yeah, we can get, some sample processes other districts have used.
Gabe has questions for, potential members. I remember I used that, when Democrats were looking for somebody to fill a vacancy. I don't remember which one. Okay, on to the next item, which is Jessica. I love your subcommittee list.
I have a spreadsheet, I love it.
The way it was done drove me crazy. And when I saw this, I said, I love Jessica. Because this is exactly what I envisioned. It was something like this. So you see the subcommittee assignments, listed, with who's on them now. With, if 4 is the majority right now, that means we only should have 3 on any of these committees so that we don't have a quorum. So that means for board policy review.
You don't need me as an alternate.
Oh, there you go. That's an alternate position, but as an alternate, that's all right, I suppose,
Yeah, I think you're.
It might be wise to have alternates on all of them. In case, because we only have 7 of us, that if someone can't make it to a meeting, maybe somebody else can fill in. Is there a minimum you have to have?
I would say 2. And I would say, curriculum, you'd have to designate one of the 4 probably to be an alternate.
I can become an alternate. Courtney, if you're doing alternate for that one too, would you prefer to flip flop with BPR?
Where is BPR anywhere?
the very top
Oh,
one.
okay, yeah.
So you're saying,
So like maybe an alternate for BPR, Courtney alternate for curriculum, It's okay if you don't want to.
Courtney's on curriculum.
Yeah, like her to be an alternate.
Oh,
But are you saying that I would then become part of the board policy?
Yeah, and then
You are.
I work.
Would be easier,
So I do not want to become BPR full-time.
Okay, it's okay.
Gabby, would be easier if you were the alternate for, so that it saves your time, so you're not full-time on 2.
be the alternate on curriculum?
I kind of like curriculum.
Well, we could check with Carrie.
I mean, I don't mind becoming
Oh, what did
alternate
it
as
do?
well. I don't know what I would say.
Oh, new members too. So
But once you have new members, you could
go back.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, Denise technically is,
I should not be on any subcommittees.
technically the chair
Is there.
the.
I'm ex officio, ex officio.
For everything. So I know that's why we don't have to do anything.
Are we at this point, considering that we are short-staffed, just sort of look away from that at the moment?
run with.
Considering the number of times these would meet before we hopefully get 18 applicants.
That works for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you could, I mean, you could table it, until, everything, I would just say if curriculum's meeting, Daryl can put it out to all four and everyone will need to reply who's going to be in
Yeah.
attendance.
The time being, so we're not stopping what we have.
We just have to make sure it's only three of you.
Yeah, yeah,
What it-
make sure the time, yeah.
And if all four did show up, that would have to sit as part of the public and not the decision making. They could still attend as public.
Yeah, I mean, full transparency, I have to start working quite a bit more. So
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to almost recuse myself from some of.
That's okay. I was just trying to make it a little more fair to you. I don't know if you want
No,
to.
I appreciate it. I'm just fine, because I know that I'm gonna have to be working more. So instead of me being like, I can't be at this meeting, I could just be the alternate.
That's fine.
Courtney, you want me to do the Board of Selectmen liaison?
No, that one
That one
actually,
you're great with?
that one I'm a fan of.
Patrick, I thought it was on Family Resource Center, but I don't, I would be willing to do that.
Well, the reason is they don't have an existing board.
As we move forward. In doing this, so.
Let's think about nurse negotiations, because that's coming up in spring.
Yeah, that's not far away. That's the only one that's not far away.
No, we did a 1 year extension, because, you had a couple retirements, they were absent and they were their union leadership. So in the absence of union leadership, we negotiated with their union a 1 year extension.
It also sort of spread it out a little, so
Yep.
there aren't as many all at once.
That typically starts in, I would say March, at the earliest. So, I mean, we could always come back to that too.
Yeah, and these are a little different because they're time limited. Right, so
Yeah.
that you just, you're there once it's done.
I can do the Board of Finance liaison. Heather was that.
What do we do about the finance committee and the facilities committee that I'm on? Can I
We're just
can I
leaving
stay on?
We're just ignoring you.
It's okay. Okay.
You're staying right
Just
where you
because you
are.
have a gavel doesn't mean.
I can't come to meeting. Okay, I'm okay with
So if we leave them all, the only one is the curriculum committee that's got just one committee people. So, Courtney, is the athletic council still okay for you? That Friday morning one we do?
Yeah, because it meets in the morning like that, that's fine.
I can do the Board of Finance liaison.
really as liaison, you only need one, don't you? Why do we have two? Backup, maybe? I don't know.
We had two. And then Heather was the only one who did it last time.
Gabby and I used to alternate in the beginning, like first and
Oh.
third, I think, right?
Yeah, for like the
Yeah.
first year.
Yeah.
Or so. I guess.
Patrick, what are we negotiating with the cafeteria negotiations? Is that with the
That one's-
company? That was before.
We still have, so the way that contract, reads is, through attrition, Winston's absorbs, those
Yeah,
employees, but
yeah.
we still have, Ryan, how many are still our employees?
Like 2 or 3, is that what it was? Not that many, right?
Three.
I want to say like 2 out of the 3 are like scheduled to retire in the next 2 to 3 years. So at some point it'll be fully outsourced.
Okay. That would be a good one to get on.
Yeah, but we just,
Just.
we just did a contract with them though, so that one's not due. There's a good, strong possibility, I mean, maybe to your point, that by the time we go to negotiation, it no longer exists.
We just revisit this at
Once we have a.
February 15th, yeah,
Okay,
the end of the February 27th, whatever. Later than,
do we want to table it to our second meeting in February?
well, we've made a few adjustments, so, but yeah, go revisit it, the second meeting in February.
Hey, any other discussion on that subcommittee assignments? Okay. A new business to waive the policy for purchasing procedures pertaining to securing referendum communication services. Patrick.
Sure, I can speak to this a little bit. This group met with the Donovan group. Following our policy, you typically do need 3 quotes based on the price of the contract. I can tell you just based on this very unique need, it's very challenging to find 3 quotes. I will say that Donovan Group only works with K through 12 education. Certainly, they're very qualified. They came recommended by CAPS. They also are used by CAPS for their crisis communication. They did put in, and we did obtain 3 quotes or proposals for our strategic plan, which I know that we are postponing a year, but at that time when we were collecting the quotes, they did put a quote. They were the lowest of those 3 quotes in comparison, and were lowered by the next by $5,000.
For the strategic plan as well?
Yeah, they put, so I had spoken to them about both needs, and I did have 3 quotes for the strategic plan.
Because they want to break into Connecticut.
They do, and I think that came across when we met with them, so I think that works to our advantage. And certainly they are, qualified.
So what is the quote for them?
For the,
Communication first, I think.
Just communication.
Just
not
communication.
you
Yeah.
mean for the referendum support?
Yeah,
It ranges somewhere between 20 and 25 with a
Okay.
cap at 25.
okay,
Part of that has to, it fluctuates based on, because we're giving a tentative,
yeah,
we're giving a range of a possible
Yeah.
referendum date. Could be September, it could be November. So part of that is based on,
sure. And you'll get kind of a scope of services.
Oh, yes.
In terms of what they will provide, right? And the time, he talked about
Yep.
timeline, which is really good, but also the scope of services. So we know absolutely positively what we can expect and anticipate from the correct.
and it's like a retainer model too.
Yep.
And it's broken down monthly.
Okay,
So you have flexibility.
Yep.
As well.
thank you. That's good.
Can I make a motion?
Sure.
I make a motion to waive any requirements for, um, our- we have a policy number?
Yes.
Yeah.
30-50.
It's very,
Oh, for policy 3050 for the securing of the referendum communications specialist or the facilities study.
what is their name? Donna, it wasn't
Don
Donna.
Van Gogh.
Don Van Gogh.
I think that covers it.
Motion made by Noreen. Is there a second? Seconded by Fran. Any further discussion, questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Next, we have liaisons and subcommittee reports. Anybody? Fran, no. Courtney, no.
No, I mean, I went to the Board of Selectmen meeting. They did, sign someone, I think, to be part of the nursing negotiations.
That for pension or was it for negotiations?
They did both.
And
I
they did
think it's,
pension
yeah,
too, and they had something to do with that, because do they have nurses on the town side?
No.
no, typically they want to sign, it's usually certified staff only. But I thought maybe it's pension related.
Oh, there's an issue with the pension.
Because the nurses were unaffiliated because they weren't unionized since they've shifted.
Like a,
And so technically, they don't have anything in place. They still are contributing, but as, because now they're a union, they would have to specify it. So I'm wondering if it had to do specifically with pension.
So I serve on the juvenile review board. I'm appointed, but I'm not quite sure whether I'm a community member or a representative of the board in terms of, but they meet on a, an as needed, but typically once a month basis. And, it's a diversionary program for kids who, have the opportunity to, really kind of reflect and do some community service or other kinds of intervention kinds of programming so that they're not, referred to juvenile, court. And, we saw just recently, we've seen two different, young people. They had a meeting on Friday, but we were at the conference on Friday. So I know that Cheryl also sits on the juvenile review board, Galveston. Yeah, so that's that.
Are we supposed to have somebody from the Board of Ed represent?
No, so I believe, that originated, because, Betsy and her background obviously has a background in that area, expressed interest. And so, we did reach out, but she's really serving as a community member.
Because I was gonna say, should it be added to the,
Yeah,
Subcommittee.
yeah, no, I just, just ask, yeah.
thank you. Deb,
Oh, no, I'm just stretching.
She's stretching, so.
you don't have any liaison or anything?
No, no.
And Noreen,
No. Oh, other than PTO is still seeking help for their holiday store. Coming up. Uh, 9,
December
11,
9 to 11, I think.
10, 11, 12. It's Thursday, Friday, it's Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of that week, wherever the 10th falls,
10 through the 12.
10 through the 12.
I ask, I suppose I've spoken from a previous meeting, but has anyone, because Carrie was talking about starting up a sign up sheet.
Yeah.
Oh, she sent it tonight.
Oh, she sent it tonight. Oh, okay.
Well, that's why I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I can report that, Betsy and I and Patrick, Daryl and Daryl went to the Cape Conference and, they had some pretty interesting seminars that we all attended, we all split up all over the place. One that they did have that I went to on Saturday was, freedom of information. And, one of the questions I asked is if we have new members come on board, we can actually interview them in executive session if we want. I would prefer doing that in open session. That's for all of us to discuss. But we can have any discussions that we want to have about the candidates after we interview them. We can do that in executive session. So that was a good little thing to hear about. And once we have a full board, maybe we can have a training. There's
New member training.
Yeah,
They do,
yeah.
yeah.
a new member training. There was also mentioned that, and we are all aware, but it's in the back of our heads, I think, that there's mandate now that all Board of Ed members have to have development training every year. It's a new requirement that was passed by the legislature. I don't know what that means.
You have received it, so like, there's a certain amount of like time, that goes, but everyone's been in compliance with it because we've had Nick Caruso from Cape, come and deliver like training and professional development, so that does count, towards it. He makes reference to it. So certainly, when we have, the 2 vacancies filled, we could bring him back in and schedule something and discuss like what areas you'd like him to like focus on. So that's always an option versus like doing it independently. And they have webinars that count towards that as
Yeah,
well. too.
The CAVE conference.
Yep, that counts towards it. So,
Okay.
so you can do virtual, you can do in person. They do have them throughout the year. Everyone should be receiving like the mailings too.
Yeah, so from CAVE?
Yes,
Yeah, we
yep.
do get that.
And those have the training opportunities in them as well.
Is it? There's the.
It's the book. Is it?
Yeah.
All board members?
It is.
Yes.
It's a yearly, it's yearly.
Is there like a reporting platform that we have to show evidence that we would?
Not-
Like CEUs.
Yeah, like.
Not to my knowledge.
I don't think so. They said that, that's what they said was that there's no enforcement of it
No,
really, but
they can't.
we should be doing it. But, the person from the Freedom of Information Commission could come out and that would be another one for everybody too. So,
They have in here someplace to be able to do, I saw, oh yeah, so there's 2, I saw the free rep webinars too, so they're in December, let's say 26. So there's one in February,
oh, and it's in Florida. How great.
no.
Sign us all up.
Sign us all up.
All going.
No, I'm looking at these too. So there's one in best practices for financial oversight in March. I mean, those are things that might be useful to new members. And they're Zoom, so you don't have to, traipse all over the state. Oops, that's yours. Oh,
So I just wanted to
Yeah.
report a little bit about the CAVE conference. It was interesting. Yeah, I need to keep this going. Okay, liaison and subcommittee, no other reports, anybody? Then we move on to our second public participation. Public on Zoom, would you like to now comment on anything?
No, I'm good. Still just listening. Thank you.
Okay. Miscellaneous, do we have any miscellaneous?
Actually, I have a question. So I noticed this morning at the high school, there's like construction going on. Was that for all the erosion and the runoff? Is that what that's for? I wasn't quite
Say
sure.
that again?
At the high school, there was like a bunch of trucks and like construction. I just wasn't sure what it was. I was just curious.
For the runoff, like,
Okay.
yeah, so to essentially support that, so it doesn't continue to erode by the backfields.
Yeah.
So the high school backyard doesn't fall into the river.
Actually, a science project on it my freshman year.
It was, there you go. You were ahead of the game.
Are you in the class of 2026?
Yeah.
Are you gonna be coming in December, and asking us if we want to buy candy canes,
Maybe.
please?
Okay. You want me to?
I kind of do because I would like, I'd like to support the class of 2026. Give the board an opportunity to do so as well.
Like actual candy cans? The can.
I think that I'm not in student government, so but I'm sure I'll get a form or something through NHS or something. So
Okay. Next is the enrollment report. Any questions?
Now, the only thing I'll point out is there was an error the last one. It was corrected, so it showed a greater discrepancy in error between this year's data and last year's data. So since has been corrected. That being said, I will be bringing comparison report probably sometime in January, February, as far as number of students reported in magnet schools, VOAG, tech schools, homes.
Yeah.
I need to wait. There's it's called an R2 report. Which it's residency related, and it involves like students that are identified as magnet, VOAG, tech, anything related to school choice. But there tends to be multiple errors when reporting residency, so we're going to wait till that report is actually closed out to provide as accurate as possible data. So sometime in January, February, I'll have that.
So Patrick, in November of this year, the pre-K is 76 students. Is that because of choice, or what does that represent? Or just because of the way we had to kind of accommodate?
We just take a.
Yeah, it's on page 46, sorry.
Um,
Or is that just because of the state, you know how we have it?
so preschool, not many people, I think, it's not really advertised, but preschool essentially is a special ed program. So by law, you are mandated to provide, services starting at the age of 3 if they are identified and qualified. The most appropriate, model, the model that we use is an integrated model of peers. I mean, I have young kids, they learn best from having a peer model versus an adult model. So essentially, we do have a number of seats allocated
Okay,
for peers, along with students that are identified through the special ed process. Sometimes those seats are on hold because like you get early identification months in advance, usually 6 months or more. That you may have a referral that reaches, and this child age 2.5 may be eligible at that time. So as time goes on, if not all those actually turn into actual referrals, we open seats as the year goes on. So we'll have a waiting list and we'll say, okay, we're holding the spot, but we no longer have to hold this spot, and then we'll open it up for an additional
okay, so
year.
it's kind of a.
Correct. So
And do those referrals come from a birth to 3 program? Is there a birth to 3 program?
there is a birth to 3 program, but there's also like a state portal, so you can see students
alright.
in the portal. You may not have their names,
Yeah,
but you'll have their birthday, and so you can start to track and see what's coming and where they are in the process. But
In the
typically,
community.
there is a birth to 3 provider
Yeah.
involved with the
Okay.
referral.
thank you again.
That's a good question.
So before we adjourn, something that I had thought about, because as you're all aware, I had been asked about being chair. So I thought, what other things can I possibly bring to the table? And one of the things is at the end of the meeting, I would like to just open it to any member giving us ideas of anything that you think would be something that we should put on a future agenda. So, I mean, if something comes up in the week, and you've got an agenda, just scribble it down. I might make it an agenda item, items for future agendas, so that it's not just built kind of what Patrick thinks or I think, but what all of us think. So just keep that in mind, and going forward, just scribble down something if you want, and we'll talk about it at the end of the meeting. As long as I remember that.
We can just go back to
What's that?
the enrollment report.
Oh, sure. I'm sorry. I thought you were.
I was forming a thing and it took a minute. Sorry. It looks like between last year and this year, the biggest hit was at the middle school.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if, is it possible to take a deeper dive and to see what happened? Where do they go, or?
We can, I mean, I can tell you based on, it was, the difference between, families moving out of district and families moving in. So we had more families move out, than families move in. That impacted, the middle school the most, but, we also saw it did that elementary too.
Yeah, I see that, but it's like if you compare November to November, It's the biggest is, it's over 20 kids in the middle school. Or close to.
It typically is the middle school that you lose more, right?
That's middle school up until this year was holding pretty steady.
Yeah, I mean, high school, because the kids can go to the Catholic schools, prep schools, whatever their parents think is the best place for them to go before they go to
Yeah,
college.
but the question is like, when do we start to see, like where school choice is impacted? It typically starts around sixth grade. But I don't think we had, I mean, we'll see the data, shortly, but, I don't think there was any unusual, like higher number at the middle school than any other year.
I'd just be curious to see what. It's such a tumultuous, yeah. That's all I have.
So that's a good question. And now I'm formulating something in my brain too, now that you're kind of, in terms of choice students, our choice students stay in our, could we take a little bit of a look at that? So we have 73 students, right? On the little thing on the bottom, 73 students, from the choice program. Oh, that's 2024. How many do we have now? Do we know?
It's roughly about the same.
Almost the same.
So,
So they're staying.
they are,
Once we get a choice student, they stay.
they are.
They don't.
I mean, you have some that graduate and then obviously you have some that come in preschool. We do see some in preschool, and we're aware. I mean, obviously it's a day program.
Yeah.
We lose a couple.
And I know that, your recommendation has been before that we really look at choice students like very early on and that we are taking siblings, correct?
Yep.
But do we want to consider, to our point of like middle school, do we want to consider perhaps, looking at choice students for middle school?
Yeah, I would advise against it.
Yeah.
Years ago, we did that and, it ran into like challenges as far as integrating
Okay,
into and feeling a part of the community.
okay,
Um,
all right. And that was at the middle school. I always assumed it was the high school, but it was middle school.
yeah, I will tell you, we do take a look at ninth graders. But this year, we contemplated, but one of the things we also look at is see which students, or how many students, I shouldn't say which, because you don't know who they are. But you can see if they've identified you as the first, second, third.
Yeah,
Choice. I will tell you, previously, we were getting students that were identifying us as their fifth, sixth, seventh choice,
yeah,
which, wasn't really leading to feeling good about coming in. All the families that come in now, they identify us as their number one choice.
Really?
And so, and we take that in consideration, much more success, transitioning to that. Now, we have to work a lot harder with our marketing and
right.
fairs, and Cheryl really deserves a lot of credit with that. But this past year, we looked and, we contemplated and, students had indicated our families 3, and we said, no,
Yeah.
we want families and students that really want to be here.
Yeah.
And so we do take that into consideration.
Okay, because I'm just thinking even high school, my understanding is the automotive department is really something that's, that's kind of special. That's what I'm hearing at the high school. So if a student kind of identified as, I think I actually heard, I was talking to a student the other day about, and he was in middle school in East Windsor, kind of up and down as far as his, absence rate. But he liked that. And, that was one of the things you can say, hang on, go to school in middle school, because once you get into the high school, we have a really good automotive program and you can be involved in that. So if there's kind of a niche kind of a program, I'm just thinking about how we kind of get our numbers up a little bit.
think new school construction could really, I mean, when you have buildings that are 70 years old, it is challenging, especially when surrounding school districts are building brand new construction everywhere.
Shiny schools do make a
Yep.
difference.
And I mean, our schools,
The special legislation bill that they came up with included a 5% bump in school
Yes.
construction and it half.
Yes, yes, last week, I think, right? Yeah.
An extra 5. Closer.
Yeah, to get close to 80%.
5% is 5%.
Yeah.
That was exciting.
Right? Motion to adjourn would be in order.
Take motion to adjourn.
Second that one.
Made by Gabby, seconded by Betsy. All those in favor? Aye. Aye.
have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
And cooking. Actually, no, I am. All right.